and they will start saying like, usually it's going to be money, right? I have like 1 million, 5 million, 10 million. Okay, you have achieved that one. What you are going to do with this money? I'm going to be house there, like car here, travel, blah, 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 whatever. You've done that. What you are going to do next? So we are kind of revealing, and we're digging and digging and digging, right? To the point where we're getting into the real reason why kind of they want to be on this path.
Welcome to Clicks and Bricks Podcast. We talk about the entrepreneur mindset.
If you get one shot at this, what kind of shot are you going to take?
If we forget who we are, they're going to forget who you are.
And you've got an adversity story that's out of this world.
Everything from that Main Street brick and mortar to that billion-dollar manufacturer.
Ben, thank you so much for joining us today. Super excited to have you on the show. Before we learn about your business, can you tell us a little bit about you and what your upbringing was like?
To make a long story short, like we've had it in other conversations. So Canada is I live in Canada. I live and operate out of Winnipeg, one of the central places in North America, right? Geographically, at least. And that is my third country. I was born in Azerbaijan, immigrated to Israel, was living there for most of my life for 17 years. 8 of them were in air forces. And then I decided that I want to move, and I moved to Canada. Out of many choices that I had back then, this one was the best choice in my opinion. And so far, it's kind of proving the best choice for me personally. So what else can I tell you? So you know what? Drop out of the school, 2 years out of the system. Then I realized when I was like 14, 15, then I realized that, I need to do something about my life. Otherwise, I will end up where I don't want to be. As a result, I came back to the system, Air Force's high school and the college. Both of them are with honors diplomas. And you need a motivation, right? So I've got my motivation living, not living on the street, but being out of the school, pretty much, with all these kind of weird activities that you can imagine, right? Mechanical engineer, never worked as mechanical engineer in the past. Continuous improvements, quality assurance, operations management professional, and technically this is when I'm coming into my business. So. I worked with small businesses in my corporate and my private sector careers. So I worked with small businesses, and I started to realize that these guys, with all of my respect to them, and really, I really do have a huge respect to business people because they dare, they take chances, they take risks, right? Many of their problems have very simple solutions that bigger fishes in the tank are already knowing, and they just miss it. So I decided to do something about it, and that's what I try to do. I try to bring these tool sets and methodologies and best practices to the tables of small business owners so they can overcome the obstacles of growth that are in front of them. You know what? You will probably know it even better than I am. You speak with so many people that there is usually going to be like some kind of like a glass ceiling, I'm calling it, right? It was a mom and dad shop in the past, and a child took over a business, or even it was their beginning of the business. They still operate. They grew out of the garage. They have their own location right now, but they operate at the same level of complexity, the same level of business systems, and it's not working, right? It's not working because the game is changing, and you have to adapt. So this is where I'm coming handy.
Okay.
And yeah.
So you're helping companies that have gotten to a certain point in their business, and they're trying to figure out how to replicate it or scale it to get it to the next level.
Pretty much it. So like I consider myself my self-proclaimed title, right? So I have 2 streams actually. So I added another one last year, but first one is a business breakthrough strategist. So my superpower, I like to say it, okay? But anyways, my superpower is to see the system as a whole, okay? To identify patterns and then see where these patterns are not working. So in the past, I worked with different, like I'm a lead ISO auditor. so certified lead auditor. So I know how business systems supposed to work in order to comply, right? And that is the best practice in a sense. So I will come in, I will check out, and I will make sure that the processes that you have are supporting what you wish to achieve. Okay, so that is kind of like building the transferable value in the business. And the other stream that I haven't mentioned it in the bio, but I am also a business exit planning advisor. But that was a logical progression from the things that I already do, right? So yeah, right, but right. Like I'm coming
which
in
makes,
trying to help.
I think so especially if you're dealing with a lot of companies that are second generation that are at a plateau moment, if you're going to help them get past that plateau, they probably are stuck at that plateau because it's not their passion like it was their parents, and they want to figure out how to get it to a marketable asset so that they can exit that business, right? Because it's either going to
I can.
At that point, you got three options. You can just stay where you're at forever, which some people is comfortable. It's not comfortable for me to stay where I'm at. It's just not comfortable. Shut it down or get it past that hurdle so you can sell it.
Yeah, you know what? The thing is that actually I met a couple of people that were comfortable at the levels that they are, and they were not interested. But only one of them was really consciously and through the full understanding of differences wanted on the same levels. The rest were just, here is the thing, right? When we speak about growing the business, growing something, everyone will think about linear growth. So, and they don't think about the scale, okay? And the difference between the growth and scalability is pretty simple. When you grow your business, you add resources at the same rate as you want the growth. So like with advertising, for example, right? You put $100 into advertising, you received 5 leads. You want 50 leads, you put $1,000 in advertising, linear something. With scalability, you search for the ways to break this connection, and you kind of create a system that will be able to replicate itself, and you'll be able to scale up. So you move into a different level of operations, like kind of, So, different mindset, different approach, different priority.
Yeah. In the small businesses, it happens all the time. I had a conversation with a guy just the other day that has a very unique service, right? And he's charging wrong, and he knows he's charging wrong. And like, well, why don't you raise the price? He's like, oh, my brother argues with me about it. So, but it requires his expertise to do this one product. And I'm like, well, you can't ever scale that unless you can teach somebody else how to do it. And you can't get out of doing the work to work on your business because you're not charging enough money to do it, right? And you're always busy, but you're never making any money. And it's really sad. I see it all the time. Unfortunately, I see it when they're looking for marketing services. Oh, I need marketing services to grow my business. You need a better you need a better offer or a different product, right? It's not always just about the marketing. If your product isn't scalable, then you're stuck. You're at a breaking point, right? Really
that is a great point, especially for service providers. That is a great point. You know what? Like when you speak, and right? You speak to people and you ask, okay, what is your problem? What do you need more? Oh, I need more leads. I need more clients. And I'm asking, okay, well, but you know what? Let's say I'm coming in, I'm helping you out to double your lead generation, double your sales. Are you capable to handle it? Yeah, sure. We will hire more. But you already have unhappy customers. You already have your crappy processes, right? You will just multiply it. I've seen a couple of times when one of the prime example, a business was struggling to meet the ends. It was unprofitable, like in a couple of years in a row. Okay, they were pushing hard to make more sales, and they were having more sales, losing more money. At the end, when we started to examine the business and examine the numbers, the margins and overheads were all mixed up. There was a huge problem in the way that they were quoting the jobs, right? and because the overheads like fixed and variables were all mixed up, the more they were selling, the more money they were losing. And I'm like, you know what? Close your doors, you will be more profitable right away, like at the spot, right? And on the other hand, when you speak about, and I actually like this subject so much, service people, right? They will say, okay, well, that is my area of expertise. I cannot scale myself, right? What my answer is going to be is, yes, maybe you cannot scale and replicate yourself, but in the business, you don't do only this core competency of yours, right? You do so many other things. Okay, you cannot replicate that one, take everything around it and automate it and scale it and delegate it and outsource it, whatever. All of a sudden, you start to focus on what makes you money, right? Then you can think about it like, if you nailed them down, then you look around and you invite people with your skill set, saying, you know what, you don't need to do any sales, you don't need to do any admin, any marketing, any nothing. Come in, do this. I will bring you clients, right? And all of a sudden, you don't need to work. This guy is working for you, and you just, shaving the referral fee or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right.
So there is a way around it. People,
I think it's a false statement that you're so unique that you can't be. You are unique and you can't be replicated at all. That is absolutely true. But the skill set that you have can be replicated.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Like you learn the knowledge somewhere, so you can teach it to someone else. And I think that's the difference. That's a big difference in service providers that are capable of growing, because they say, "Oh, I'm going to learn how to teach somebody to do this that secret sauce," right? Mm-hmm. And I don't understand why we're so afraid to create duplicates of the stuff that we do as humans, right? Because it's kind of well, I don't want to teach them how to do that, because then I won't be worth it. But the world is so abundant. There's so much to go get that it's an absurd mindset to have.
And you know what? I agree with you on that one. And then in my industry, like business coaching, business consulting, as soon as I see somebody in my field, I will reach out. Hey, how it's going, fellow? Right? People are shying away, and we are not competing on anything, right? Like people that would like me, not necessarily would like you, right? I have my own skill sets. I have my own expertise. Like why don't work together? And believe it or not, but I consider myself as a startup. Okay, so I have started I haven't touched on that one, but I'm operating a little bit over 2 years. Majority of my business right now is coming from joint ventures with other service providers. So as a prime example, I was working with our local Chamber of Commerce and World Trade Center, and I was providing them with, little trainings and stuff like that, right? So in one of them, there was like a woman, she's a business consultant in HR field. But in the past, she was doing strategic planning as well and quality assurance. And I liked her approach and her perspective on the subject so much. I said, okay, how about we do something together? As a result, we have 3 different products that we are selling as our common product. And we won't be able to sell it if we were just ourselves, right? Because we join our forces, and she's coming and we play the game, right? But our clients are getting to do this game when I'm playing this kind of, male, cold, rational, logical side of it, right? Machine first, money first, people later. And she's an opposite. She's like feminine, warm, and people first and stuff like that, right? So to the point, when we play this game in between us, our clients will say, okay, last time, Ben, just a second, Laura, what do you have to say about it? Because he was interested in the people perspective of it, and this is how it works, right? We would not get this business without this collaboration, right? A joint venture. And same thing with other people. Like, you know what? Skill set, everyone can learn a skill. I can guarantee you throw any skill on me, give me enough resources and time, I will excel in it. Okay?
Right.
There is a difference in talent and the skill, right? So like an art and the skill. So the creative part of it, well, maybe I will not pick it up, but I will be able to replicate what you do, like following your steps. So it's just a matter of again, like you said, it's a matter of perspective and mindset. And let's not even start about pricing, right? Raising the prices and why people do the prices the way they are. That's one of the first thing I will ask. It's just crazy, like, right? Like, why do you charge?
Yeah.
Why do you charge?
Why is someone afraid to raise their prices?
Okay, well, so that is the same reason why people try to offer discounts. And this is the reason why giants like Walmart and Amazon and like big corporations are killing the small business right now. You cannot compete on the price. People are thinking that, okay, well, you know what? I will offer a lower price. And I'm saying, hell no. You know what? Work on your value proposition. Give better value. Okay? Appeal to different clients, because you cannot. If you compete on a price, somebody that is bigger than you, that can suffer the reduction of their margins a little bit more, they will reduce the price, and you will be at the point of break even or below, and you will lose money, and you will be out of this game. Look at Amazon, right? How much money they were losing with all of the systems and stuff that they were doing, but they dominate the market now, right?
Right.
So that's pretty much
Amazon. So if you're going to compete on price, you're going to have to lose a lot of money. So you have to have a big hopper, and that business model can work. I've seen it work. It's really scary. I was involved in a company in the late 90s that was selling digital subscriber lines.
Okay.
DSL, right? Huge in the late 90s, early 2000s. This is pre-cable, all those things. Selling at a loss. Absolutely selling at a loss, hoping to make it up on other services, and exited that company. Luckily, a couple days before payroll was due, right? And I was able to sell it. But so the game there is, if you're going to sell at a loss, you got to sell so much that somebody wants your customer base, somebody that wants your customer base and has the courage to raise the prices on them as soon as they can. So it's a different kind of business model completely. One that I don't like. I stay away from that fast breakneck speed growth and then flip the company out. And
but it's not.
I've got some friends that do it. It scares the hell out of me.
No, it's not a good strategy for small business in particular, because it is very sketchy and the risks are too high. But you know what? When we speak about pricing, right? I speak about it with my prospects and my clients. I'm saying, well, you know what? Simplifying the financials, like super simplifying it. Anytime you raise your prices, this increase in price goes directly to your bottom line, because your costs are the same. Anytime you're discounting, that goes directly from your bottom line, because your costs are staying the same. So and then, you know what, like we can make a calculation like with numbers with people. I'm saying, okay, well, let's assume you increase your price by 10%. Let's assume, okay, how much more money you will make on the same sales that you had last year. We'll make the calculation. Okay, now let's say out of your client base, out of all of these sales, right? How many clients you are going to lose over this 10% of increase? Okay, and when you do the math, it's like way over 10%. Like you can, in some cases, you can lose as much as like third of your sales.
Right.
And you will make exactly the same money at the bottom line.
But you're not working as hard.
Yeah, right. And you don't work that hard. And you can pick and choose who you are. And it's kind of like, And then like with discounting, I'm saying, okay, well, you know what? If it is not something significant, like, 25, 30% off, don't approach me. Like, whatever, like 5% off. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously? Like, right? But this is your life money. That is your cash flow. So anyways, that is... and
if you haven't, what do you tell somebody that hasn't raised their prices in the last 5 years?
You know what? Even if you are scared to raise your prices in general, and I'm even not speaking about our current condition. I think you folks are in the same boat that we are, with inflation raising prices up and stuff like that. As minimum, you need to cover this inflation, right? you need to cover your costs. There's no way around it. So if you don't increase your pricing by 2.5-3% every year, you are slowly making less money, period.
Yeah, and I think I read this morning in the U.S. inflation's like 7% right now. It's
yeah,
pretty high, right? And it's a global issue, right? I think there's a couple countries that are less than that right now. Not many, right?
Yeah.
Inflation it's a global issue that's happening right now in June, July of 2022. Not sure what's going to happen long term, but the only thing I do know is that there's a lot of opportunity to be had throughout this uncertain time on our planet.
Oh yeah, you know what? It's in general. In general, like even if you look on the markets and stuff like that, exactly. You know what? People will try to save money. People will try to do ways differently. You know, some stores were closed, and I was thinking about it. Looking about it on a COVID, right? If you think about it, COVID made huge impact on the small business world. And you know what? We haven't even seen the true impact of all of these 2 years on our economies. Many businesses have closed, but I've read some statistics that there was a spike in new businesses because people were losing jobs. People were losing like other businesses. These niches are opening up, right? So you're getting in, you're getting like, on top of this demand, people are pivoting, new opportunities are created every day. So yeah, it's again, it depends. You know what? I like to say that if you have like, the fly and the bee, when they see the same field, right? Bee will see a field full of flowers, and the fly will see a field full of fertilizer. Okay.
Yes.
And that's exactly
Absolutely.
the same.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then remind me again. I don't want to mess up the name of your company. What's the name of the company?
It's Congruent Clarity. So Congruent
Clarity.
Yeah.
Is that .com at the end?
It is .com at the end. Yes.
Congruent Clarity. Now, you started this business. Did I read in March of 22 or 2020? March of 2020, you started a new business. Seems like as a small business consultant or coach.
Yes.
That seems like a pretty crazy time to open a small business consulting when small businesses are shutting down across the globe, right? So can you tell us a little bit about why then, and what was the motivation to do it? Were you thinking about it before then, or was the pandemic the catalyst to say, I'm going to help these small businesses that are shutting down? What was that mindset like? What was that about?
I will lie to you if I will say, oh, I saw it coming and people will need my help. No. If I knew that the pandemic is going to hit us that hard, maybe like I will take different course of actions. But technically what happened is I was not happy with my corporate. Like I was on the fence for a long time. Okay. And so I started to think like, okay, well, I'm on the fence. I'm not enjoying my corporate, and I'm not in the business, right? So I'm not kind of coming 9 to 5. After 5, I'm coming in, enjoying my life, and everything is stuff. I still think about it. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm not getting any younger, surprisingly. Okay, so I'd better like make something, or I will just leave it as is. Okay, and because I was not super happy with my corporate, and for different reasons. Okay, so at February of 2020, we said hello to each other, and then I started to think about, okay, well, now I have an opportunity to do this. Okay, if I'm not going to do it now, I will do it. I will never do it. So so pretty much that's what I did. I started to work on this firm. I started to think. I spent super crazy and stupid amount of time on thinking what I'm going to call this ship, right? But it was important for me. So I started to outline it. I've identified what are my gaps, what I don't know, what I need to learn more. So I found a mentor that helped me out to start out the business, right? And slowly and surely, I started to hone my message, started to find my style of dealing with people, right? Uh, Acquired new clients for my first clients, all right? And I was super happy about it. Started to get them some results, which was very important for me. And I grew it from there. Now, once again, beginning of the pandemic, right? And I had this conversation with my mentor lots of time. Like, is it a good or bad thing for me? Yes, many businesses were hurt, many businesses were closing the door. But on the other hand, if you think about it, they needed a help of people like I am even more now because they couldn't afford to operate the business the same way they did before, right? A good example, like very quick, right? I'm coming from aerospace. I'm coming from Israel. They have to adopt the latest and the best technology that is existing ever. They develop many of it, right? When I came into Canada, I started to see people working with, in North America, not only in Canada, people in manufacturing operating with machinery that is like 50 years old. You can do the same part, 50 times faster with higher degrees of quality on a new machine. But people were not doing that. Why? It works. We don't want to change it. And you know what? The business was so stable and so good, they could afford themselves to be so inefficient. It cannot be done in Israel. It cannot be done in Europe this way, right? Because the competition will kill you. So it was like 15 years ago, pretty much, right? Lots of things have changed since then, but that is the same example with businesses. People are operating the same way that they were operating a decade ago or 2 decades ago. It doesn't work this way anymore. You have to change something. You have to have your competitive advantage. Otherwise, you are going to be eaten by bigger fishes. And so, yeah, I think it was a good, and it's not only my optimistic approach to anything I try to do, but I think it was a good timing for somebody like me to get into the market. Yes, I'm not unknown, right? I'm not a big name in the field. Nobody knows me, but I have my skill sets. I have my records, and I have my results.
Right. Awesome. So 2 years later, roughly, not quite 2 years, right?
Over 2 years now.
Yeah, it's over 2 years. Business is up, thriving, doing well.
Well, it is not where I wanted to be honest with you. Like again, like
Probably never will be.
I have strategic planning at the core of everything I do. Right? Like I said, I'm a systems guy, right? So I have my strat plan with all of my numbers and stuff like that. I'm behind, partially because I was over ambitious with my planning, partially because I'm lacking the quality of his execution on some of these things. But it's a given, and we all fight it. But yeah, I'm profitable. I'm working. I'm here to stay. And you know what? My mentor was beating me for that. I'm very easygoing with my sales. I will not chase you, right, with my sales. But my approach is the following: I will come to you and I will say, okay, Ken, this is what I do. Okay, I will speak to you. I will identify issues that are popping up in my mind. That is a curse in personal life, by the way. I see all of these imperfections and flaws. But anyways, I'll say, okay, well, this is what I think the course of action is supposed to be like. These are the things that you need to do. I will bring the value to you. I will wait for you to ask for my help. And now, after 2 years in the business, I actually started to get it. When I have conversations with people, they say, okay, well, what it will take, if you help me, like, how much will it cost me? And that is huge for me, right? That is the biggest win probably for me, to get into the position when my sales speech becoming like very, very passive. Okay, as much as it can be.
Absolutely. I hate hard sales. Right, absolutely hate them. So much that I don't have, I'm operating 3 different companies right now, and I don't have a single sales rep. I have order takers and I have marketing strategies and plans.
Okay.
And that's it, right? I don't have somebody that's out there really hitting the streets. And then my job is I just tell as many people as I know what I do, right? I'm an IT broker. You need IT services? Hit me up and I can sell just about any IT service on the planet. So, but I'm never again going to be pounding the, knocking on doors and, really aggressively trying to get you to work with me. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't, and I don't think it feels good to anybody. I don't think it feels good to me doing it. And I don't think it feels good to the person that's trying to be sold something.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, it is something that is around us. You know what? I actually I have a big respect for hardcore salespeople. Like these door-to-door people, they work with objections, they work with rejection to the level that I'm like, wow, and you are still alive and you just didn't shoot yourself with all of these
Right.
rejections that you're getting. But my style is different, definitely. Yeah. And
Awesome.
I understand you.
I want to go back a minute. You had said something about natural talent versus learned skills. And I think that's so important for people. I know a lot of people that are naturally talented at stuff, right? And at the surface, they look like they're really, really good at what they do. But when things get hard or trying, they tend to fall apart. And whereas the learned skill, it shows discipline and fortitude to learn that skill, right? So in your mind, is that more important to mindset over natural talent?
Discipline, absolutely. You've just nailed it down. There are studies and many studies that let's speak about sports, right? At sports, there were studies that a mediocre, like not mediocre, like average talented athlete will achieve more than a very gifted one if they have the right work ethics and they will train harder. Period. Because there is on a very, very high level, when they all put like this hard work into the training and stuff like that, when they start to shave these seconds, right, the split advantages, then the talent comes in, right? But to this point, it's kind of okay. Well, you can do it easier than I am. But if I try to do it, 5 times a day and you never, I'll do it better than you. I woodwork. You know what? I had a conversation with a woodworker yesterday. He does custom furniture. Okay, he enjoys his own designs and he's very very gifted craftsman. Okay, he knows his craft, and he said, "Well, I cannot hire somebody like me." And I said, "You don't have to. You have this gift or talent of designing new stuff, and then you have this skill of wood crafting, and you are charging, say I will make up numbers, you are charging when he quotes the job $100 an hour. How much of this $100 is your labor and how much of this is your creativity?" He said, well, let's use it 80-20. Okay, $20 is my creativity. You can hire $80 wood craftsman to do the job for you. You just do the design. You see? So you can divide it. And when we speak about scalability of service people, that is exactly the same. You just divide what is scalable and what is not, and you work with it, right?
Right.
So yeah, Absolutely. To answer your question, a discipline and a learned skill, acquired skill, will overpower gifted person 9 out of 10 times.
Absolutely. Discipline, I think, plays such a big role in my life. If I can be disciplined in a lot of areas that really scale. Now, the problem there is, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over without results. And a lot of times with discipline, the results don't seem like they changed for a very long time, right? So you keep doing it over and over and over, knowing that, I move a percentage of my income every day to savings just to take it back out to make payroll. But it's good exercise to do that every single day. And then one day, I didn't have to pull it out to make payroll today, right? So it's those little things of creating discipline every single day in your life and in your business. And my discipline is not the greatest when it comes. I'm really disciplined when it comes to doing what I need to do, but I'm not very disciplined at saying no to the things that I like to do, and they definitely it takes its toll on my life and my business. So practicing the discipline on a regular basis, and it definitely it shows in everything that you do after that, and this is just for the guys and ladies that are sitting on their couch thinking, man, I want to start this business, but I'm afraid I don't have this natural talent for numbers, or I don't have this natural talent for one of the pieces of the business. That's okay. You'll get there with practice. If you're disciplined enough, you will get there with your practice. And you can also hire people to do that stuff you don't like to do.
That's exactly the point, right? Like if you don't know something, you just delegate it. You know what? Bookkeeping, IT, these are the things that you delegate right away, because bookkeeping, I don't think that I always doubt the bookkeepers that they actually enjoy what they are doing, because nobody does, right?
Who would love that? Right? It's so tedious.
And I'm curious if they have their own bookkeeping in order, because like it seems like nobody likes it, right? But yeah, you know what? For the people that are, you just reminded me that it is focusing on some people that are planning to start the business, right? So my advice for people like that will be like to be really, really clear on what they want to achieve, and even more importantly, why they want to achieve it. There are going to be lots of downs, tons of downs. You will have more downs than ups at the beginning, all the time. And when you know, and like it's maybe a beaten horse, but when you know your why you want to achieve it, and it is big enough, it will empower you. You will say, you know what?
Right.
Like you said, I'm doing it over and over again. There is no result. Ask yourself, is it the right thing for you to do? Yes, my mentor or it's a best practice. Everyone does it and it works. Okay, if it is the right to do, just keep doing. Not today, not tomorrow. In 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you will get the result. So that's the discipline. And discipline will be connected to the why. You will say, okay, well, you know what? Cold calling, right? It's a prime example. One of my clients, she needs to do cold calling, right? That is her way.
Right.
Okay. And her goal is to have 15, 20 of them a day. Not all the time she's getting them. And I'm saying, okay, well, listen, now you know why you don't have the results, because you didn't have these calls, you didn't have these actions. That is your cost of inaction. Okay.
Right.
And then you reframe it this way. And she's saying, okay, well, but we did this much calls like for this last week, and there was no like result. And I say, yeah, statistically it can happen, but over the longer period of time, the result is going to be in there. Yes or yes. And then, oh yeah, sure. Keep going.
Right.
Okay.
So I'll tell you, I watched a video the other day, and I can't think of the guy's name, but he's the author of $100 Million Offer. He's also Gym Launch. He was saying about one of his mentors, and the dude's like nailed it, right? He created a package and an offer that's just sold well over 100 million in revenue. But he was saying when he first started, one of his mentors is like, oh, you got to do flyers, right? So he went down to the market, and he printed out 300 flyers, and he put them on cars around the street. And he talked to his mentor the next day. He's like, yeah, I had a couple people walk in with these flyers, not very much. And he put out 300 of them. His mentor asked him, he said, well, how many did you put out? He said 300. And he goes, oh, your case study's way too small. Like I start with flyers. I start with 5,000 is where I start. And that's how I'm going to get my numbers. So sometimes when you're Facebook ads, TikTok ads, flyers, cold calls, right? You said 15 to 20 cold calls a day?
Easily, yeah.
Is what she's trying to get to?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember when I was young, it was 400 a day. 400 dials a day is where I was in my early 20s, right? And now I'm still at 150 a day.
That is a lot. Yeah, that is huge amount. But again, the numbers are speaking, and you know why you do this amount and not more.
Oh, I know my why. I know I know my why, my daily why, and I know my super why I do it forever, right? And that's my kids. So the why is super important.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have any recommendations for how does someone uncover their super why?
You know what worked for me, okay, and what works for some of my clients. I'm trying to ask a series of questions. Okay, like what do you want to achieve? and they will start saying like, usually it's going to be money, right? I have like 1 million, 5 million, 10 million. Okay, you have achieved that one. What you are going to do with this money? I'm going to be house there, like car here, travel, blah, 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 whatever. You've done that. What you are going to do next? So we are kind of like revealing, and we're digging and digging and digging, right? To the point where we're getting into the real reason why kind of they want to be on this path, what kind of feelings they are going to get, what kind of self-perception, what kind of impact around them in the world they want to get, and then we put it in the paper, and it's pretty much the advice is going to be to ask yourself, what do you want to achieve? Okay, what is your dream? And when you have this dream, just to be like a rational guy, say, okay, why do we want it? Why do we want the house? Like, oh, I want to enjoy ta. Okay, all of a sudden you want a house because you want to enjoy your time with the family, right? And then if you look on it, you don't have to have this big house in order to enjoy your family, right? But you need more time. And then all of a sudden you are not after your money, but you are after your time, because you are working like 65, 70 hours in your business every week,
right?
And you don't get to enjoy it. So you see, the false target is one of the biggest obstacles of achieving the goals, because it's not really what you want. Subconsciously you understand that. Consciously you are lying to, oh yeah, well, I want to be rich. Okay, how rich you want to be? Why do you want to be rich? So ask yourself a series of whys, and don't let yourself from the hook. Okay, don't make it easy. Why? Okay, I want. And if you push it hard enough, you will get into your real reason, what exactly you want. And then you take it and you put it on the top, on apex of everything. And then it will start cascading down into your intermediate goals, financial goals, healthy goals, and stuff like that. I'm not dealing with like health, relationship, all of this. It's unavoidable, but I don't touch it if it's not affecting the business. But what I say, okay, well, that is your why, that is your kind of ultimate goal and ultimate dream result financially from business side. What you need from the business in order to support it. And this is how we start working on it.
It is so important to have that why. And it's my belief that if it's money, some people can get there, but money's not a big enough incentive to grow. Once somebody's comfortable in their daily life and they're fed well, right? I mean, America, Canada, there are starving people in our countries, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And they have options. So once you're comfortable, it's kind of challenging to really jump off that next step and grow. And I see this a lot at companies. I see it all across the board. I see companies stuck at 300,000. They can't seem to grow. And at 1.2 million and 2 million and even 5 and 10 million, they're stuck at these levels, right? What is there a mindset that the founder or the person running that company has to get into before they can really bust through that glass ceiling? Is there like one key thing that you see that they must have, or is it more like a recipe of a couple of key ingredients that really make them that can get you to push past that level? Because it's hard.
Well, yeah, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Like, and I just this morning I said I never pretend to be somebody that I am not. Okay, so I've never worked with serial entrepreneurs or business owners that are on the like really multi-million. Like when we speak about a multi-million-dollar business, we don't speak about 5. Technically, 5 is a multi-million, but it is not, right? We speak about hundreds of millions of dollars. They operate on a totally different level. But what I'm looking, if you are looking on a small business segment on my sweet spot, people that I really like to work with, it's going to be like somewhere around like 1 to 3.5, 4 millions a year, smaller organizations. I know what are the obstacles in their mindset, and one of them is going to be, again, operational wise. They are still at the position, even though even if they grow the business to the point that they have like 50, 70 employees, right? They still try to run it all by themselves, and that is one of the first things that you need to change, because without effective delegation, you will just won't be able to grow, because there is that much that you can manage, right? effectively, like based on the studies, effectively you can manage not more than 7-10 people. If you manage 30 and you say, oh, I can do that, I do this, you do it ineffectively. And I can prove anyone that is managing like large teams all by themselves, I can prove each one of them that they do it ineffectively.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. I fall apart I don't fall apart, but I know 20 is kind of where I start to not like managing people anymore. Right? I love 10. 10 employees is a really good sweet spot for me. I love it a lot. I've been across the board. On my high side was 170. My low side was
all under your wing.
All not direct reports. So I had directors under me.
I'm speaking about direct reports. I'm speaking about direct reports because if it is, wow, like can you imagine 100 people, 100 direct reports?
Yeah,
right. It's crazy. You know what? Look on our armies. Maybe are dumb. Any army in the world, they are dumb. You know, they operate because they need to equalize everybody. And some other studies are saying if you take a crowd of people, right? And you will take the person with the lowest IQ in this crowd, average IQ of the crowd is going to be lower. For some reason, when we operate as a team, like as a big, large crowd, not a team, large crowd, somehow the stupidity is incrementally increasing and people do some really stupid things, right? But what I'm saying, armies is accounting into, because they have to. And there is a huge and very, very solid reason why there is like a very similar formation and sizes in every army in the world, because that is what is working most effectively. It's been proven in a battle with sweat and blood, and we're supposed to look into it, right? And I'm like again. Right. In your private life, it's pretty much the same, I think.
Awesome. Then if somebody wanted to work with you, what kind of clients, I think you said, between the 1 to 5 million range is the kind of client that you're looking for?
Yeah, it is pretty much it. Like I have a couple of startups that I'm working. I actually had one client, because I know the numbers, they couldn't afford me, like period, at all, like not any capacity. So I worked with them for under the cost for myself. I liked the person so much and I saw so much potential in there and I felt good about it. Okay. So I'm not picky and I'm not looking on the size of the business, because like I said, monetary is not my main focus. But usually it is going to be a business owner that is running the business all by themselves. They're in the business a little bit over 3 years, maybe, because for me, it's going to be the proof that they still have something tangible that people like. It's not some crazy idea. But now they stuck on this level, like 10, 15 employees, something like that, on a sweet spot. Ideally, it's going to be somebody with product-based company, because then I have additional layers of value in managing the inventory, or cash that is sitting in there, all of the good stuff over there. But surprisingly, like I don't know why, I guess I attract different people. Majority of my clients are service-based. I had 2 SaaS companies. Like where am I in SaaS, right? But business is business, right? So every obstacles are obstacles. So yeah.
Awesome. So, and if they wanted to do business with you, how would they reach you?
LinkedIn will be the best one. Actually, like I'm monitoring my LinkedIn. Email is a good one as well. Because I'm working of my emails and my social media. But in a matter of fact, I don't know how visible is it, but this barcode, the QR
code,
that is actually my LinkedIn. You see, even here, I don't have any sales. So that is a link in my LinkedIn account. So, I please, reach out. Let's connect. I try to post some meaningful stuff to people around me so they can use in their businesses. I'm not posting kittens and stuff like that. So if you search for this kind of content, I'm not a good one. but I try to put a quality content for business people.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it, I think.
Awesome. And we'll throw all that information at the bottom. So if you want to work with Ben, you think it's a good fit for your business, if you're stuck somewhere on some kind of plateau and you're looking to bust through that glass ceiling, it's a challenge. We all get stuck in our own kind of, getting stuck in our own syrup, and we're just walking through it and trying to get unstuck. So sometimes having somebody look at your picture from outside the frame can help you overcome some of those silly challenges that you just can't unlock yourself for some.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm coming in and I'm reading the label on the jar that you are sitting in, right?
Right. Absolutely. So thank you so much for your time today, Ben. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
I hope to talk again soon.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you very much, sir.
That's it for today's show, folks. If you'd like to join my text line community, the number is 370-2871.
How did it go?
All you have to do to join that text line is send me any question about business or technology. I'll do all the research, and I'll give you an absolutely free, totally unbiased answer. Get to work.
Sounds good. Okay, I will keep